There we go. Audio. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to start over now. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to talk about slash chords today. Slash chords are triads over bass notes. This is it'll start out as a basic music theory thing. I've done these before. I was just saying that with the mic off by accident. I've done these before with the whiteboard, but this will actually show you on the keyboard, which is actually more instructive than just writing them down, because you will hear them and see them, and you'll see the chord names up there too. The discount code for today's live stream is RB101. It's 50% off my Beato book, YouTube, Instagram transcription bundle. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me there at RickBeato1. I just hit 250,000 followers there today. Actually, it was last night, but who's counting? I do these things called quick lessons on there, which are little mini guitar lessons. A lot of those are transcribed in the book, but my Beato book, Instagram, YouTube transcription PDF is 700 plus pages. Is that right, Billy? Yeah. And my ear training course is on sale, $60 off today. Same discount code, RB101. And we're going to talk about how this relates to ear training as well, triads over bass notes. Okay. What are triads over bass notes? Well, if you, what's up? No, this is good. It's good. Okay, let's say we take a simple chord here, C major. Okay, that C major chord, if I put C in the bass, it's obviously C, but if I put E in the bass, that's the third of the chord. It says C over E. That means a C major chord with an E in the bass, or that's C over G. So these three notes are the notes of C major. Okay, so these are inversions. This is a first inversion with the E in the bass, the third, and this is a second inversion with the G in the bass. These are your most common types of slash chords, just inverted major chords, okay? Where do you see these kind of things? Well, you see them in songs like, let's say we take the key of B flat here. I actually used this song in my video I did on underrated guitar solos. Maybe I'm amazed, right? The way you love me all the time. So you have B flat major to F over A. So this is really, that would be F major. F over A is F major in first inversion. What's up, Billy? What's that?
Keys are a little too quiet.
Oh, let me turn up. Turn up on here. Hold on. This should be better here. So I think I've turned it up here. So the yeah, it's right here. So whoa. So that second chord there is F over A. So that would be F major. That'd be F over A. So that's a first inversion or a slash chord, right? First inversion major chord. Now, why instead of going, maybe I'm amazed? That sounds really weird, right? And it's just going from root position B flat to root position F major sounds strange, but it's all about the voice leading. Maybe I'm amazed by the way you love me all the time. I'm a bad singer. Maybe I'm afraid of the way I love you. I can't remember what the lyrics are, but... So that uses these basic inverted major chords, that song does. So do a million other songs. That's like the most common thing. Okay, let's talk about other chords related to just C major, because this is a great way to learn them. My ear training course goes over this in the triads over bass notes section, or the where it talks about these different inversions. And what we do is we start with C major, and there's what we call the basic triads over bass notes, which would be the first inversion major, second inversion major. Then right here, this would be C major over F, and this says F major 7 sus 2. The reason it says sus 2 is because there's no A in the chord. If there's an A in the chord, well, it wouldn't be C major over F. There is no third in that chord, but it's really C over F, even though that thing isn't quite right there, but it's C over F. This would be C over A, and it says A minor 7. But you see that right there. If you can see that in the small screen, it says C over A. C over A is really A minor 7. So a lot of common chords that you would play are actually slash chords or triads over bass notes. Slash chords and triad over bass notes are the same thing. Slash chords are just the common term that people use. That's just a common term, but it's really triads over bass notes. Okay, so there, so the C over F, that you'll hear in Steely Dan use chords like that. Those are more common in the 70s. You'd hear a lot of chord voicings like that. And A minor 7 is a very common one. Now there's other dissonant ones that you hear more in jazz and things. That would be C major over D flat, or this would be something that you would hear more in R&B, but more in the 70s, like Stevie Wonder. This would be C over D. This would be a dominant 11 chord. Okay, that's what I call that. C over E flat, that's more from the dominant diminished scale. C over E, C over F. C over F sharp would be an F sharp 7, flat 9, flat 5. Okay, as you go through these things, some of the chords will sound really dissonant. That's from the diminished scale. Then you have C over A flat, which is really, it says it right there, A flat major 7 sharp 5. This would be A flat major 7, A flat major 7 sharp 5. I love this, how it actually shows you the A flat major 7. You see what that says? It says C minor over A flat is A flat major 7. So I'm going to talk about minor chords over triads as well. Minor slash chords, right? So right there, a major 7th chord is really a minor triad. If I take C minor and I go down a major 3rd from the C to A flat, then you have a major 7th chord. Okay? Just like a minor 7th chord is a major triad. Go down a minor 3rd from the root of the major. So C down to A, and that gives you a minor 7th chord. And a major 7th chord is a minor chord. You go down a major 3rd from a minor triad, and it gives you a major 7th chord. Now, all these things are in my book. It explains these things very thoroughly. But what you want to do is you want to be able to hear that these triads are over bass notes. When I do them like this, and when I actually move the bass note down the octave as opposed to here, it's easier to hear, I think, that it's a minor triad over this bass note. So this is C minor over A flat. Okay? So once again, you can start with root position C minor over E flat, so that's the 3rd in the bass, and C minor over G. These are not quite as common. You don't hear that as much. C minor over E flat, C minor over G. A lot of times when you hear something like that, like C minor over G, that's what I call the minor 1 over 5. That would be a very common cadence in classical music. When you hear it, you're saying, oh yeah, I've heard that before. That sounds really common. I did C minor over G. Then I did to G sus, to G major, to C minor. Don't look at the chords there. It has them wrong. Okay? So once again, the minor triads, if you go chromatically through them, put this in the bass, the D flat in the bass. I'm going to turn these off because it has part of the things with this app that I'm using, Chordy, is that it doesn't really it's not that accurate when it comes to certain chords. It has a database that it's drawing from online. So if those of you that are want to know what program I'm using, it's called Chordy, or Chordy app, I think. Yeah, Chordy, Chordie app, Chordy app. And it has the notation on a stave, which I didn't have in the window, and then it actually will tell you what the chords are. But it's pulling from a database, and it's not that updated, honestly. It's not that modern of a database. This would be C minor over D flat, C minor over D, C minor over E flat. A lot of these are very dissonant. This is C minor over F, C minor over F sharp, C minor over G, C minor over A flat. That one sounds normal. That's a major 7. Now here's another common one. This is C minor over A, which is really A minor 7 flat 5. And you'd hear that resolve like that to D7 flat 9, 2, 5, and then it could go down to G minor 7, which would be, or I could go G minor 7, so it would be B flat major over G. So these little chord fragments, or, right? These are just triads. C minor, this is C diminished triad, C, E flat, G flat, going to G minor, but this is a first inversion G minor chord. So B flat, D, G. Right? So C minor over A, that's A minor 7 flat 5, D7 flat 9, and then G minor. Okay? So we've got, when you go through those minor ones, you come into a lot more dissonant sounding chords that are used more in jazz and modern classical music. Okay? I use a lot of these chords. Like I would use this chord here. It sounds very dissonant to the ear, right? This would be C minor over B, or I could go D flat minor over C, but that would be from this scale. It's from the altered dominant scale. It's just a really kind of dissonant voicing, where you normally would hear a voicing like that. But this is more of a stark voicing. I love that sound. That's a great sound there. It's a modern, that's like Alan Holdsworth kind of a sound right there. Once again, RB101 is the discount on my Beato book, YouTube, Instagram transcription bundle. It has all these things in here, the theory of this stuff. And the ear training course is RB101, $60 off that. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about some other things when you get into triads or slash chords. You're not limited to just major and minor triads over bass notes. You can have added note chords, you can have diminished chords. I did this C diminished over D, which is really D7 flat 9. That's the flat 7, that's the flat 9, that's the third. So that's D7 flat 9 right there, but it's really C diminished over D. You can also have things like this. I could have a I could have, let's say, an add 9 chord like this. This would be C add 9. I could do that over A flat. Okay, that's C add 9 over A flat. Now, when I thought of the chord, I went and I sang that note A flat there because I was hearing that. Now this would be a C major 7 sharp 5. I'm sorry, A flat major 7 sharp 5 with this added note D here, which is the sharp 4. So it has a sharp 4 and sharp 5 in there, but really it's C add 9 da 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 over A flat. Now, when you hear these things, so I played the chord da 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 C D E G A flat. So I'm hearing those notes using relative pitch, and I'm singing those intervals because I practice ear training every day, and I can hear those things. I hear this. Oh, that's a major add 9 chord. I don't know which it is unless I have a reference tone. This is where ear training really helps. If I did this, da 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 da, that's a minor add 9. And if I put ba in the bass, it's an A major 7 with the sharp 4. cool sound, right? I could put in the bass. That would be an A minor 11 flat 5. Would still resolve. You could do you could resolve down to still to D7, but I added the sharp 5 in that. Okay. So you can use add 9s, you can have major 7s, you can have all types of minor 7th chords. Anything can be a slash chord. It can be a major C major 7 over A. That C major 7 over A is really an A minor 9 chord. Okay, so that's the minor 3rd, that's the 5th, that's 7th, and that's the 9th of A minor. So here's A minor 7. A minor 9, but this chord here is C major 7. So you could say, oh, that's a C major 7 over A. Or I could do da da da, that's a C sus2 over A. That would be an A minor 11 chord. You have the minor 3rd, the 11, and the flat 7. But once again, sus2, C sus4 over A. That would be a minor 7 sharp 5 chord. This would be minor 7 sharp 5, but this is really C sus4 over A. The value of knowing slash chords like this is that it's a shortcut to being able to hear more complex chords, okay? This is why in my ear training course, why I teach hearing all these basic triads, okay? I teach hearing all the triads of starting with a major chord, going to minor, going to diminished, going to augmented. But then I start using the chords like C sus4, C sus2, C Lydian, 1 sharp 4 5, and then C Phrygian, 1 flat 2 5. These are why I train people to hear these things. These are very important because you can build really interesting chords off of these. If I take this chord fragment that I call C Lydian, C F sharp G, da da da, and if I put this in the bass, that makes it what I would call an Aeolian chord. You start to get these voicings that are modal sounding voices that you can use for film scoring or modern classical music, things like that. You can still use these things. I could play that exact chord voicing on guitar and it would sound great. But that thing, that C Lydian over E, right? That is a particular sound that if you just heard that, you'd say, oh, what is that? Well, if you can hear da da da, and you know that's C F sharp G, and that's E right there, that you know, oh, it's C Lydian over E, or an E Aeolian sound, right? Or if I play that Phrygian sound there, and I play an A in the bass, so this is C, D flat or C sharp, G, and I play it over A. Well, it's a 7 with a sharp 9. So this little chord fragment, the C Phrygian chord fragment, helps you to recognize some of these more complex chords, okay? Just by knowing these few extra triads beyond the major, minor, diminished, and augmented, knowing the sus4, Lydian, sus2, Phrygian, those 4 extra chords beyond the major, minor, diminished, augmented, you start putting them over different bass notes, these slash chords, and they create these more complex chords that you begin to recognize very quickly because they're very common voicings. This voicing here, okay, the C Phrygian, if I take the note C and move it up the octave, like that, or move it down here, that's a very common, that would be a very common sharp 9 spacing. Or if I did it down here in the key of D, that's, or if I did it on E, That's the Jimi Hendrix chord, right? This is E7 sharp 9. But really it's this, take this note here, this is a G Phrygian in first inversion, right, over E, and that gives you that dominant 7 sharp 9. So the ability to hear these different inversions of these basic triads over these bass notes will help you start to hear all different types of chords. Dominant 7 flat 9s, dominant 7 sharp 9s, minor 11s, major 7th chords, things like that. Because almost every chord, every type of 7th chord is a triad over bass note. Period. End of story. Whether it's that is A minor 7 flat 5, but it's also C minor over A, or A flat major 7 is C minor over A flat, right? Or this C major over D is a D11 chord, is what I call it, right? D dominant sus. All right. So once again, you want to train your ear to hear these things, and you want to understand the theory. And the way you learn it is simply take a major chord and go through all the permutations of putting the 12 different bass notes under it and just memorizing what each bass note makes the particular chord. Major triad with a flat 9 in the bass, okay? That's called a tonic diminished chord, or diminished major 7. Dominant 11th. This would be a chord 13 flat 9. That's a first inversion major. That's a major F major 7, 9, F major 9, or C over F. This is a dominant 7 flat 9 flat 5. That's a second inversion major chord. That's a flat major 7 sharp 5, A minor 7. This is a first inversion, or I'm sorry, third inversion C7 chord. And this would be really a third inversion C major 7 chord, right? Okay? So every one of those chords, as I went chromatically in the bass line with the chord C on the top, I know from ear, not only do I know what the name of each chord is, but I know its function, okay? I know that this chord, I know this chord is would be, is basically like deceptive resolution, right? Or it's a type of, you could almost say it's a type of suspension. It's a really cool sound, right? So this is why this stuff is so important to learn, is that you can pretty much simplify every type of chord into a triad, 7th chord, or added note chord over a bass note. The added note chords would be like C add 9, da, right, over A flat like I did, right? C add 9, C minor add 9. You could do C major, I call this Lydian major. There's C major. The sharp 4 would be Lydian major. Great sound. That would give you a Dorian sound. Beautiful sound. C Lydian major over A. All right. RB 101, Beato book, YouTube Instagram transcription bundle, 700 plus pages. I explain all this stuff in great detail in there and give examples of it. And on my ear training course, it has hundreds of modules that will test you on these things. You begin with basic intervals, major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 5th, major 6, minor 6. Minor 7, and you start to develop these things. Then you those are called harmonic intervals. Then you have melodic intervals, tritone or augmented 4th, diminished 5th, right? major 6, things like that. You start to learn them by ear, played together, right? Melodic intervals or harmonic intervals played like a harmony, or melodic intervals are played separately. Then we move to triads, all different types: major, minor, diminished, augmented, Lydian, sus4, sus2, Phrygian, and you learn those, and then you start putting different bass notes on them. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, I can hear all this stuff. And then you can figure out any song by ear instantly, right? Because most songs that you learn by ear that you hear on the radio are very simple. They don't do anything. It's just that, occasionally you'll hear songs. If you hear more modern type pop songs, that you'll hear minor 11th chords and things like that. You'll hear, major 9, like F, 8, like C over F. You'll actually hear those kind of chords in some modern popular music and things like that. But being able to recognize these things just develops your ear so much. And I like to talk about slash chords that way, because not only is it understanding the theory, you have to understand what scales go with those, but really how to hear those chords, since those are the way that you can really split up basic chords, right? So that thing where it's like, okay, C major with an A in the bass is A minor 7, but if you hear that, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what inversion that C major chord is. If I have A in the bass, it does not matter, because if I have a C, let's say G sus4 over A, that would be an A minor 11. Okay, always. So that C. G sus4 or A sus2. Any inversion of that will give you an A minor. All those notes, doesn't matter what inversion they are, they all make it an A minor 7 chord. And you just be able to hear it and be like, oh, that's a minor 11 chord. That's G sus4 or C sus2 or D quartal, I call that. Those different inversions there create those chords. Okay, that's the lesson for today. You guys are amazing. Check out the ear training course, RB 101. Check out my Beato book, YouTube, Instagram transcription bundle. Basically, you pay for that is like taking half a lesson with somebody. So you figure I've got about 800 free videos on here. Not that I'm trying to justify it, but this stuff is important because my book essentially is your textbook for all of my videos. On my channel, look in the archived live streams to see all the old live streams here. Okay, so if you say, "Oh, where's that live stream from there?" It's in my archived live stream playlist on my channel. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much. You have a great weekend. Okay, we'll see you.